Her new initiative is to have Miami be thought of as one of the world capitals of culture, and finding new formats as opposed to relying on government donations and individual foundation donations, new formats for gaining support for all that. And she's got some fabulous ideas, and she's including all the arts. It's not just dance. It's everything. So at some point, it'd be great to have kind of a general conversation about that.
I do want to say, Ray, and I'm thrilled to hear that when you actually kind of rattle off who's here, and I won't because I don't want to bore you, but I'm talking about cultural institutions, and I include in that list books and books, of course. Actually, the list is actually very long. And you think about, I think one of the interesting things, frankly, in the post-COVID world, where you've had so many people move into the area. So it's sort of whatever was here before, which was really spectacular in some respects, underestimated or misunderstood, has now been amplified by the arrival of a whole bunch of folks who, by the way, are here they're here in the wintertime, during what was traditionally the season in New York. When the Metropolitan Opera was performing and the New York Philharmonic was performing, they're actually here. They're not in New York. And they used to come for a couple of weeks. Now they come for 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 months, because motivated by tax status. And
6 months in a day, right?
Right. I actually know a number of young entrepreneurs who have cashed out of their business, and they're super wealthy, and they bought houses here, and they're living here year round.
Exactly. And so in some ways, I'm very excited about what Lourdes is saying. And part of that is telling the story about what's already here, that actually is not broadcast with sufficient amplification. Lourdes actually ran one of those organizations, which right here in Miami Beach, obviously the Miami City Ballet. So there's a big story to tell, and books and books generally are an important piece of it in order for the story to be complete.
I just wanted to toss this out to you folks. I just recorded an interview with Howard Herring and with Clyde Scott. You guys know Clyde Scott, who does the visual stuff at the New World Symphony. And the conversation was about working with Frank Gehry. So this is like a post-mortem on Frank Gehry and what the experiences were like working with him to create such a unique, it's supposed to be the most technologically advanced concert hall in the world. And among the kind of stories they told me, I saw a Sidney Pollack documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, on Frank Gehry, called Sketches of Frank Gehry or something like that. And in the documentary, Gehry says, I don't propose on doing buildings anymore. I wait till something is hitting me on the head, and then I go do it. So I'm asking Howard and Clyde, how did they get Frank Gehry to do this building? And what they said was that that Frank Gehry used to babysit for Michael Tilson Thomas. Did you know that? Oh, you did,
actually.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's a great story. Worth telling again.
And they remained friends. And when they went to do this building, MTT just called him up and said, I want you to make a building for him. And he did.
Ray, but I'm going to take that story you told as an opportunity to say how astonishing it is that here in the center of Miami Beach, less than 10-minute walk from the Betsy and other great hotels, is one of the great concert halls in the world.
Yeah.
And actually, again, I'm telling that story to capture what we've got here. And I say that phrase to people all the time to try to illustrate that it's not just about palm trees and beaches, although those are lovely too. Think about it. One of the great concert halls, the most technologically advanced concert hall in the world, is in Miami Beach. Anyway, there's a great story to tell. We got to tell it with a louder voice.